Each year, hundreds of students enroll at SD State unsure of what they want their major to be. If this is you, know that you're not alone. Through exploratory studies at SD State, students can follow different tracks, exposing them to different career possibilities. Here today with me is Anna Lockram, and she has been through the Exploratory Studies program, and we're going to talk about her college experience and deciding on her major. Thanks for being with me.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So, Anna, you didn't want to come to SDSU, at all.
Not at all.
But here you are.
Here I am, yes.
So tell me about that process. You didn't want to stay in state. You have lived in Brookings, but you've also lived in the Sioux Falls area. Tell me about deciding to come to SDSU.
Yeah, so definitely I've had the best of both worlds. Brookings, being a smaller community, and then Sioux Falls being a little bigger. The high school that I went to, that whole school district is growing every year, and I was like, I don't know if I want to live in a small town, because I loved I graduated from Harrisburg, loved Harrisburg and loved Sioux Falls, and it's being a little bit bigger than Brookings, and because I've been in Brookings because my dad lives here, I was like, I don't think I want to do this because I've already been here, done that. And then when I came on my visit, it was just so much different looking at it from a student perspective and not an outside citizen type thing. So that's why I decided to come.
For what reasons did you decide that you wanted to go out of state?
Yes, so my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I think even in middle school going into high school, because you're like, oh, after this I gotta decide where I'm going to college, and you kind of start thinking about what you want to do. I was like, I want to go out of state. I don't want to be in South Dakota anymore. I don't want to go anywhere by my parents. I was like, getting out of here. And then as I started going on my visits and kind of narrowing things down, and honestly looking at tuition, that was a big thing for me too. I just realized that going out of state was just not the best fit for me. And there was honestly more pros staying in state and not necessarily just coming to SCSU, just other schools in South Dakota, than there was cons. And so ultimately there was a few more pros on coming to SCSU, which I was like, oh, I'm really shocked about, but it's honestly turned out to be the best thing for me. So good choice.
So when you did come on your visit here at SDSU, you got to meet with someone who actually ended up being one of your instructors.
Yes.
But she told you about the Exploratory Studies program. Tell me about kind of making that decision to do that and not decide on the major.
Yeah, so it was honestly kind of tough coming in, not knowing what I wanted to do, because everyone that I've talked to, my friends, my roommate, even everyone on my floor had decided what they wanted to do. And I don't know if I necessarily felt left out. I just didn't have a direction that I wanted to go in. But after my visit and meeting with, yes, like you said, one of the professors I have now for one of my classes, they just made me feel like my feelings were validated, and I could decide it did not matter, and I was still going to graduate college in 4 years no matter what I decided. They even said if I didn't pick a major by my sophomore year, I can still stay on track. And that was just really rewarding to hear, because that was honestly a big thing that I was worried about coming in, and SCSU just made me feel accepted and that it didn't matter what I decided, and they wanted me to take my time and just find what fit me the best.
Yeah, because I feel when you're in high school, I feel it's a common misconception that, once you pick something, you're kind of suckered into it. People don't realize that people change their majors all the time, or that they do need time to figure it out and see what's out there and what they like.
Yeah, I feel in high school, they don't do a good enough job, opening your eyes to all the different major options. I feel a lot of people think, oh, you can, be a doctor, you can, go into engineering, or, be a lawyer, but there are just so many things that you can do in so many different paths. And like I said, I don't think they did a good enough job opening my eyes to certain things. And I feel that was one of the reasons why I came in undecided, because I just really didn't know. And then on my visit, they told me, I think it's the average college student changes their major 3 different times. And I was I know right off the bat, I don't want to do that. And I also didn't want just to pick something to pick it And this has allowed me to save a little bit of money too.
Yeah, they kind of like reaffirmed
Yep.
what you were thinking,
Yeah.
like reaffirmed that you took the time to do something rather than just jumping into one program.
Yeah.
Because so when you met with your exploratory studies instructor on your visit, you know, they kind of guide you as to what track you're going to take. So there are 5 tracks, and you know, there's one that's like engineering related, one that's agriculture, health sciences, one that's more like fine arts, but you ultimately chose the education, social sciences, and management track.
Yes.
So through your exploratory studies program on that track, what are some different things that you guys got to do?
So, yes, when I was on my visit too, my instructor, she literally made me cross out all the things I didn't want to do. And so like right off the bat, agriculture wasn't something I wanted to do. So a lot of things were crossed out. I was like, okay, that's, you know, not doing that. And then I was like, don't want to be an engineer. So honestly, seeing that too was really, really helpful, because I'm like, all right, I'm already in a little bit of a direction. And then I had, you know, I picked the track that I did because there was majors under there that I was like, wow, I think I could maybe do this. And yeah, we just got done currently in class. There was a bunch of like speakers that came and spoke. So it was a lot of like department heads, and they just really went in depth with the major, and all of them were just really reassuring too, that like there is, again, so many different options. Even in each major, there's so many different ways or paths that you can choose. And they were just like, if you have questions, just come ask. And kind of going back to the whole high school thing, we just didn't have something like that. And so they were just super helpful in that aspect. And I know a bunch of my classmates really liked all the speakers too.
Nice. So you have successfully, before
Yes.
the end of the semester, have chosen a major and a minor, right?
Yes. Haven't like officially declared it. I don't really have to do that until my sophomore year. But yes, public relations major. Woo.
What are you looking forward to with that?
Honestly, so another thing I got to do with my exploratory study class is one of our like final projects, kind of end of the semester, because we don't have like a written exam. I had to go and interview or shadow someone. So I ended up interviewing someone from Sioux Falls. He works for a big marketing firm, and he basically just told me, you know, like communication is the base of every major. So he's like, this is so important. And he just like really made me excited, like everything that he had to say. And like he started out filming, I think it was like wedding videos. And he was like, I don't like that, but it's just so crazy to see how like one thing can turn into the next. And just like, he just said there's so many opportunities, and it's always, again, communication's always going to be a big thing, and it's always going to be needed. So just like knowing that I have a job, you know, kind of coming out of college, and there's just so many things I can do. And then with my minor, if I like go into journalism or marketing, that opens some more doors too. So it's just get to see everything from a whole new perspective when I talked to him, which was really awesome.
You have actually like put in the effort to find out if this is what you want to do. Like you actually went as far as going to an industry professional and being like, hey, I'm thinking about this. Tell me why you like it.
Yeah. So talking, honestly, he was just such a good conversationalist, and he was so excited about what he was doing. And obviously, you know, every job and career comes with difficulties, but overall, he really was just like, this, I have never regretted doing what I do. And then after our interview, he actually like let me tour their office, and they were like filming a campaign video, which was super cool. So I got to see that for a little bit and meet all the people. And it was just so fun to like watch everyone like do their thing, and they were all so like invested in it. And it was just really awesome.
So it sounds like you'd probably recommend job shadowing.
Yes. Even if you talk to the person for like 30 minutes, I think I asked him probably upward of like 20 to 25 questions, and we just kind of zipped through the questions. But and then even after our tour, we talked a little bit more, and yeah, no, it was honestly just one of the best experiences.
Well, I think that right there says, you know, the fact that you asked him 20 to 25 questions, communications is probably for you.
Yeah. Yes, I like had come in, you know, the assignment I had required, I think it was required like 10 questions I had to ask. And then as he was talking, you know, or like built on that more, and there was like, oh, didn't even realize that. Let me ask you this question. Or he would answer a different question I didn't even think of. And I'm like quickly trying to type all this down and like get all the information. But yeah, no, like I said, just so awesome.
So how does it feel knowing, like, you very well could change your major
Oh,
again
for sure,
if
yes.
you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But how does it feel knowing that you're going down like a codified path?
So I was required to meet with my advisor. I had to schedule for next semester's classes. And, I went in there, and I think he was a little surprised when I said I wanted to, like, declare my major. But, like, walking out was so, like, fulfilling. I was like, okay, like, coming in, I had no idea, and now look where I am. And I'm like, I'm excited. I, got to look at kind of like a 4-year plan. I got to look at all of my classes that I got to take, and it was just super rewarding. I was like, coming into college, I don't think I ever would have picked this major, but because I didn't pick, now I'm like, this is the right fit for me. And I was super, super excited about it.
That's a really great point. So what piece of advice would you give someone who maybe, is a senior in high school right now and they're looking at schools and they have no idea what they want to do?
Yeah. So one thing, and my dad was a big help with this too. I never want him to hear this. But he was just like, when I was going on my visits and like looking at all these schools, he was like, look at the majors. Even if you don't know what you're doing, these schools need to have a wide variety for you. And so that was another reason why I came, because there was just so many options that I could do with SDSU, and some smaller schools like don't have different tracks like SDSU did. So like I said before, right off the bat, I was already put in a direction and didn't know where I wanted to go, but I was put on a track. And then with that, put on another track and another one and another one. And honestly, just you don't have to know. You live at home for 18 years, and then they expect you, to go off to college for another 4 years, live with someone you may or may not know. Like, you're an adult, you got to go, And so honestly, you don't need to know what you want to do, and everything will fall into place how it's supposed to. So.
Yeah, especially if you put in the work to get there.
Yes, for sure.
That is a very good point, that, SDSU has such a wide variety of majors. Even if you don't know what you want to study exactly, you can at least find relief in knowing, like, you've found a place.
Yeah.
If you decide to change your program, you don't necessarily have to transfer, because we do offer
so many things.
much.
Yep.
And that, I think a lot of students fear that too. They don't want to transfer schools because, maybe their friends are here, or maybe they've made new friends, or just like it here.
Yeah, a lot of my friends are actually like bio majors too. And I'm like, whoa, like they're going to be a doctor. They know what they want to do. They want to go to med school. But then when I got here and I was like in my exploratory study class, I was like, all these people sitting next to me don't know what they want to do either. And so being around just more people like that was so awesome, and I'm so glad I didn't just pick something to pick it because everyone else was, because I know that I would have been absolutely miserable if I would have just picked, and I would have probably ended up changing my major anyway, and like that stresses me out a little bit. That's just like kind of the type of person I am. So hopefully I stay with this major and stay on track with this, but ultimately if I do have to switch, not the end of the world, but I was very happy when I decided.
Thanks for being here today with me, Anna, and for sharing your exploratory studies journey with us.
Thank you for having me.
This is Between Classes. Thanks for listening.